One thing for me, I hope you're ashamed of yourself. You should be. It's 70 degrees out. You have bunny hoops on.
Alright, so I don't know how many of you seen the YouTube ads or have been told about this new little micro drone called the Kudrone that has a 4K camera in it and it has like photo stabilization, well, video stabilization, and does a bunch of other stuff. Well, I can say this much. Buyer beware, this is probably going to end badly. Now, for those of you who don't know, in the past there has been 2 other major crowdfunding campaigns with micro drones. One of them called the Onagi, or what was it, the Onaga Fly, which raised over $3 million, and it turned out to be pretty much crap. A lot of people were complaining about it, to the fact that there's actually a major lawsuit in play, a class action lawsuit being filed by Gloam and Honeck. And I'll have the link in Citations and all this in the description below. Now, what's even further interesting is before that, there was another drone project that was attempted, micro drone project attempted over in the UK area. And the thing is that raised over £2 million. And that drone barely got out on the market, you could sort of say. It just barely had a few of the drones that got out there. And then that company ended up filing bankruptcy, and it turned out of the £2 million they raised, they were also in debt by an additional £1 million. And Kickstarter went and hired a reporter to do an investigation and write up a report on that, and I'll have a link to that too. But let's get back over to this the Kudrone. Now, let's look at the first major red flag. When you go to the Indiegogo page and you scroll down pretty much all the way to the bottom, you'll find disclaimer: current video footage not shot from drone. Now, when you go and look at the video that they show that they have been using and the YouTube advertisement, which is essentially their video from their YouTube channel, you do not see this disclaimer at all. Not in the description, not in any little annotation boxes that show up in the thing. You can see that they get references as people giving a good thing, like a father of 3, or someone claiming to say, oh, I learned to fly this within a matter of 5 minutes. It's easy for beginners kind of thing. Guess what? I'm sort of very skeptical about those claims that are in the annotations. And that's why I ended up recording this video with OBS, so this way I could get that instead of using a YouTube downloader, because I think this is very important. There's a lot of sketchiness with this campaign. Now, what's even more interesting is all the things that they claim to do you're able to do with this drone, and also on top of that, what features are able to do it. Like, it has a sonar device and an image thing to help it keep stationary over over the ground, where it'll be able to hover and stay perfectly right in that spot or pretty close to it. And it's got GPS and a few other little interesting supposed tricks that are going to be built into this. But I want to reference to one of the top comments on their YouTube video right now, and I'm going to go ahead and read this verbatim. I built a few micros lately, and here's what I see with the Kudrone 4K Camera Nano drone with GPS autofollow. It's all bullshit. No way this size micro drone with brushed motors, 8.5mm, and a 650 milliamp one-cell LiPo can handle the power requirements of a camera recording at 4K with GPS in frame as well. A normal carbon frame that at under 10 grams with 8.5mm motors and an all-in-one FPV camera with a 600 milliamp one-cell battery and props such as the QX90 comes in around 55 grams and at best can only give 4 minutes flight time in normal flying conditions. Then they claim to include sonar, hovering assistance, and vision positioning sensor as well. If anyone falls for this, then you need to have a good hard look at what micro really is and the limitations that come with them. Remember the Lily drone? That was touted as being the best drone ever and had a marketing campaign to boot so they could get as many pre-orders as possible. Then they were done for Then they were done for false advertising and using other drones for the footage, and even had a radio-controlled drone posing as a Lily while showing the viewers a prototype Lily flying. But what they didn't show was a guy standing off camera using a radio rather than a wrist GPS band that was said to be controlling the drone. Then they went bust. I think a lot of people will never see the Kudrone fly as intended because you simply can't have all those features in a micro drone this size. But let's say all those features are in the drone and you're all charged up and ready to go. My guess is it would never leave the ground due to weight issues. Check out the QX90 micro drone and its weight and LiPo and camera with receiver. It has the same size motors as this with smaller frame, and it comes around 55 grams. If you add any more weight to the QX, it flies like a brick and drains the battery very quickly. You only have to look at the QX reviews on YouTube to see what I'm talking about. I would be very careful buying a drone that has dubious claims such as this one that hasn't even made it to the production line. And I took a look at this person's channel, Oz FPV Flyer. Looks like to be a guy down in Australia, and he does fly micro drones and stuff like that in competitions. He's got several videos on his channel. I recommend checking it out. So this way you have an idea where this guy is coming from. It seems like this guy definitely knows what he's talking about, and I have to agree. A lot of the features that are being touted to be built into this drone just don't add up for its weight and also possible consumption. As is, a 4K camera sensor of that size is going to be terrible if it can get 4K. And this is right here, what I'm going to say right now, is hearsay. Because when I went to go and try to make a screen capture of it, it disappeared. On their Facebook, they actually were commenting back to a person saying that the 4K was going to be at 15 frames per second. This is hearsay because unfortunately when I went to go back and grab a screen capture of that, because I was fiddling around, I kept getting kicked out off Facebook. I'll explain that here in a few minutes. That entire posting line disappeared. The person's posting because it looked like he was getting the developer there, or the manager of the Facebook, was getting a bunch of flack about, oh, that's really crappy having 15 frames per second for 4K. But as I said, this is all hearsay because unfortunately I could not grab the screen cap of that before it disappeared. And it looks like there is some censorship going on their Facebook page, trying to mitigate as much as possible to some extent without looking like they are. Now, further doubts about the camera sensor is the fact that someone on their Facebook page accused them, oh, this seems like seems like it's not really good deal here. And what they did is they posted a picture that's supposedly from the camera, and it even has in the title there 4K Pro aerial photography. Well, I went and pulled up that image, and it turns out that the image they posted wasn't even close to 4K. The dimensions in pixels is 610 by 351. Nowhere close to 4K. It's not even 1080p as a picture. It's not even 10,000 pixels. It's really, really small. And I know Facebook did not shrink it. It was them that posted that picture. And I sort of have doubts that even came from the drone itself. And then another person pops up, fake reviews on their website, and a few other people sort of chimed in. And what's funny is the person that's managing the Facebook page posts a link to a supposed Facebook video. Well, when you click on that link, it kicks you out of Facebook and tries to tell you need to log in. What's even funnier is the fact that it leaves the login username in the username box on Facebook, so you have the guy's email address. And as you can see here, I censored out the front part so you can sort of see where it's sort of going to. And I'm going to now expand a little bit further on this. Now, if you notice, the email is a company email address. And I decided to do some digging, and according to their Indiegogo page, that the company that is doing this is Reuven, or I'm not sure how you pronounce it. It might be Riven or something like that. But the thing is, I was looking up information before I even looked at this part on who the people were behind the scenes. And I could only really get information about the marketing management guy. And as I'm digging in, I end up coming across I end up looking up the Reuven website, and they have a couple of products on there. And I click on their products, and it takes me to this Kudrone branding page. And what they have so far for products that they sell is a kid's GPS watch, a drone, and a self-balancing scooter. And I was like, okay, well, I'm curious about this drone. Well, I found this little thing where they're at this convention over in Hong Kong. And it's the same marketing director from the Indiegogo campaign that is in this thing, showing off this drone and talking about its features, where it has a claw that you can attach to it, or a spotlight, or this like LED stuff. But the thing is when you click the purchase on their website for trying to buy this drone, it turns out it's not available. It hasn't started selling yet. And it's the same with the self-balancing scooter. The only thing that they're actually selling right now is the kid's GPS watch. So I am very skeptical about this campaign, because they don't even have a drone on the market from this company. They only have a GPS watch. So this puts even further doubt in this campaign, the fact that the company has technically products behind it, but they're not all of them are on market, and the one that is close to what this product is, another drone, isn't even available for purchase yet. So that sends up another major red flag. And what gets even worse is back on their Facebook page, they can't even figure out what is the best speed that it can, what it can operate at. Okay, the drone, it's stated that can fly up to 3 miles per hour, or it can fly in wind speeds up to 3 miles per hour. But yet in another spot, it says, it can handle up to 6 miles per hour. And this is coming from the market management guy himself, who looks to be running this account because due to the fact that his name is part of the email for the login when you click on that video link. And is also the same name of the guy, for the email that when you click on to try to buy the other drone. And it's the guy's name at the advertising of the other drone that is supposedly made by this company that is not for sale yet. So that's pretty much all I got to really say about this. Is this looks like a major money grab, which we have seen in the past and is quite common on Indiegogo. Now, it could be an attempt at a legitimate drone release, but the problem is we have seen this also in the past where people have released or attempted to release drones, and the crowdfunded campaigns, the people that put into it got crap out of it, or a product that didn't even work or do all the parts that was supposed to work. And I mean, in one case, we even have a class action lawsuit in effect right now. So I want you guys to keep in mind when you're looking at this, does it overpromise? And this one definitely overpromises for what is most likely not even physically capable of happening. And to me, it just screams scam. But I don't really know, because as is, you can see they don't use actual footage from the drone in their video. In fact, there is one portion where you can tell that the drone is graphically edited in because the light doesn't match, and it doesn't even hover properly. Well, it hovers too stably when there's wind in the background with these trees when you slow it down and take a really close look. So, I really gotta say, buyer beware. If you threw money on this, I recommend trying to get a refund on this really fast, or not investing in this at all. And for those of you who want to help get the word out there, the best person you should probably tweet this to is Thunderfoot, because he's really good at getting these kinds of things out there to where people can see what is really going on. Because he's done stuff about the solar roadways, he's done stuff about the various little ways of pulling water out of the air, scams, and the scam there, or the little stupid crowdfunding thing for the plastic roads, which is not even feasible in a majority of the country because water freezes and breaks things as it expands. So if you want to help get the word out, spread this video around, try to get some of the bigger YouTube people that are way bigger than me to look at this and do an in-depth video about it. Because for me, I'm definitely saying this is definitely something you should stay away from. It doesn't look like it's going to go anywhere. And even if you do put your money into this, I highly doubt you're going to get any kind of refund back on it if it flops, due to the fact that this company is in China. And most likely, once that money leaves the hands of leaves the company's hands and goes over there, the courts in the United States are not really going to be able to do anything. The courts in the European Union aren't going to be able to do anything, except maybe freeze assets or tie up their money in banks that are in other countries. But I doubt that's going to be feasible, because I'm pretty sure they keep most of their money over in China. And I doubt you're going to be able to file a lawsuit over in China against these guys for ripping you off. So I'll leave it at that.